Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. The Premier League is about to kick off. Tomorrow we'll have the first match of the season, Burnley v Man City. And it's only right for me to do my Premier League predictions to get this season started. This is going to be a weekly thing, weekly series. I'm going to, apart from when it's international break, I'm going to be doing my predictions for every single game week. And then maybe I'll do some, over the season, I'll do some maths, work out what my table would look like through my predictions at the end of the season and compare it to the actual table. But yeah, so this will be interesting. I don't know whether I'm going to go controversial. I don't know whether this is going to be debatable. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So first of all, we'll go for the Friday night kickoff, Burnley v Man City. Now this is going to be an interesting game because Man City don't normally start the season very well. Like, they tend to always have a bad start to the season and then finish very, very strong, which is what they've done, I think, the past like 3-4 years. I remember they lost to Spurs a couple of years ago in the first game of the season, and yeah, losing to Spurs, yeah, that's what needs to be said. And then Burnley are the new promoted team who look very promising. They were amazing in the Championship. Vincent Kompany's got them playing some good football, and obviously Vincent Kompany, an ex-Man City legend. So I reckon this is going to be a close one, but I'm going to go 2-1 City. I think Burnley will score first, but I think Haaland will knock in probably a couple, or maybe KDB, and the City will get 3 points to start off the season. It'll be a close and good match, and I reckon it'll be very feisty, but I'm going to go 2-1 Man City to start off the season. And then going into Saturday's games, kicking off the Saturday on BT Sport, or what's known as TNT Sports now, we've got Arsenal v Nottingham Forest. And this is going to be an interesting one as well, because Arsenal obviously have something to prove after they bottled the league last year. They should have won the league. I think they got like 9 points out of a possible 21 to finish the season, which is really bad, especially when they had the league wrapped up realistically. I think Saliba getting injured was the big miss, but at the end of the day, they didn't do it, so they've got to face the troubles this year. And they've just got to get on with it and go again this year and see if they can challenge for the title again. But I'm going to go for Arsenal 3, Forest 1. I don't have anything against Forest whatsoever. I just think Arsenal at the Emirates, first game of this new season, they've got something to prove. They're going to, I think they might push themselves top just with this one win. And yeah, they're going to try and go for this Premier League title again. But yeah, Arsenal 3, Forest 1, nothing against Steve Cooper. Forest will pick up points throughout the season. I just think Arsenal are going to win this game. It's one step too far for Forest. Right, and then we jump into the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got a few here. So I'll start off with Bournemouth v West Ham. Interesting game this. West Ham haven't strengthened whatsoever. They've made no signings this summer, which is really, really, really bad. Especially after selling Declan Rice. I thought they've got all that money. They've got a massive cash injection. They could make some good signings here and push on after that Conference League win last year. The fact they're playing in Europa this year, I can't see them doing well again. And then Bournemouth obviously have just sacked Gary O'Neill. They've got a new manager he's a good manager. He did well in the Spanish league. I'm pretty sure he took a second division side to mid-table and maybe to Copa del Rey semi-finals or something like that. Very, very good. But I just can't forgive Bournemouth for sacking Gary O'Neill. I thought he did an amazing job after that 9-0 loss against Liverpool. But in this game, I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, West Ham 1, a 1-1 draw to start the season. And yeah, I think that'll be a good draw for both sides. And then jumping into the next 3 o'clock kickoff, we've got Brighton v Luton. This is going to be an interesting game because obviously Brighton were amazing last season as well. Back at home at the Amex against the newly promoted Luton side. I don't know what to expect from this one. So I've gone for what my gut's telling me, and that's going to be a 2-0 Brighton win. I reckon Brighton will just be way too good for them. The quality that Brighton have is just too good for the Luton quality. I expect Luton to pick up points against bigger teams in throughout the season, but I reckon Luton will be doing that at home. They're not going to pick up many points from away from home. So I'm going to go Brighton 2, Luton 0. It's nothing to worry about for Luton. They've got plenty of chance throughout the rest of the season to pick up some points, and Brighton obviously are going to be pushing for another Europa League space. So yeah, Brighton 2, Luton 0. And then the third 3 o'clock kickoff, we've got Everton v Fulham. This is a really interesting one because I think both teams are going to do pretty poor this year. So I've gone Everton 1, Fulham 0. I think Everton, just because they're at home, Sean Dyche manager, I reckon they'll pull off a 1-0 win. It'll be a pretty close, dead game. I reckon there won't be much in it. And it'll just be pretty boring to watch. Luckily, we can't watch 3 o'clock kickoffs. But I think Everton will win this and start off the season with a bang and a 1-0 win. I'll maybe go for a Calvert-Lewin goal, 1-0 Everton. And then jumping into the final 3 o'clock kickoff, we've got Sheffield United v Crystal Palace. I think Sheffield United are going to do awful this year. I don't know whether they might get less points than that Derby season. Their team looks terrible. They lost their best player, NDI. He was meant to sign a new contract. So I'm going to go Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. I reckon Eze will pick up a brace and Palace will start off their season with a bang. So yeah, that wraps up the 3 o'clock kickoffs, 2-0 Palace. Right, and then jumping into Saturday night football, or the first Saturday night football of the year, Newcastle Villa, and I've gone for a 0-0 draw. I think it's going to be pretty close. I think it's going to be one of the exciting 0-0 draws. I think it's going to be a really interesting one to watch. I think both teams are going to do well this year. I think Villa might do a bit better. But I think a 0-0 draw to start off the season. Newcastle have got a strong defence. Villa, I reckon, have got a strong defence as well. So that's why I'm going 0-0. I reckon there'll be lots of chances, loads of saves from both keepers. And a 0-0 draw, which is definitely not a bad draw for the first game of the season between these two clubs. So yeah, that's my first Saturday night football, 0-0 between Newcastle and Villa. And then jumping into Sunday, Super Sunday, we've got Brentford v Spurs to start off. Now this is an interesting one because Brentford have just lost Tony, so they haven't got a proper striker, and Spurs could be they could just be about to lose Harry Kane, and they will be very bad after they lose Harry Kane because he's carried them the past few years. So I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I think Brentford will be good. I think Brentford will definitely stay up this year. 10th place finish I've gone for. They'll be solid. I reckon they'll play. I think they might be the better team here, Brentford, but Spurs will pick up a point. And this is definitely not a bad draw for either team. So for the first Super Sunday game, I'm going 1-1 between Brentford and Spurs. And then the big match in the first game week, we've got Chelsea-Liverpool, and this is going to be a very, very good and very interesting match. I back both teams to do well this year. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 exciting draw. I reckon, I don't know, I think Salah will score a couple, and for Chelsea, it's an interesting one. But I reckon, I feel like a Mudryk goal. I don't know, I might be silly when I say that. I feel like Mudryk might pick up a goal and then someone else will make it 2-2 or something like that. But either way, a good start for both teams, 2-2 draw against rivals, and I think that would be a decent result. And then the final game week, we've got a final match in the game week, sorry. We've got my beloved Man United versus Wolves. I don't think we'll coast a victory here. I think we'll win 2-1. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it will be. But a 2-1 win, starting off the season with 3 points, can't complain about it. Wolves, I don't think are going to do very well this year. I think Lopetegui might walk soon, to be honest, because they're just not strengthening whatsoever. So I'm going to go Man United 2, Wolves 1 for the final game in this game week. And yeah, that wraps up an exciting game week. And that wraps up the first game week. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is going to be a weekly series. And I'll do some maths and work out what my final table would look like at the end of the season. And it'll be interesting to see compared to my actual predictions of what I think it's going to look like. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share with other people that might enjoy this type of content. And yeah, just thank you very much for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Thank you very much.